What's the most supernatural experience you've ever had? When I was around 17, I got out of bed to go get my dog out of his kennel and feed him. As I passed one of the cabinets, a voice whispered in my ear, "Wake up." I could feel the breath and everything and literally just froze for a few seconds and ran upstairs telling myself, "What the F?" repeatedly. It has messed with me to this day and I'd rather have heard absolutely anything else because wake up just messes with you. My remote once jumped off the TV by itself. The old school box type of television when I was watching with my girlfriend didn't fall or slide off. We actually saw it take a leap as if somebody threw it. We both just sat there being really confused before even questioning it out loud. I used to do pest control, went to a customer's business for the first time. As I walked in the office, I noticed some pictures that were supposed to be hanging on the wall were on the ground, and then saw some papers which looked like they had been thrown and scattered off a desk. I picked everything up so I could apply treatment to the floorboards and surrounding rooms. I then went to treat the only restroom in the office. I simply knocked on the door as a courtesy, as I always do before entering any restroom. There was no reply, for nobody was in there, so I went and applied treatment to the restroom and I closed the door behind me. As I walked away from the door, I know I heard somebody grab the door handle, twist it open, and open the door. I turned around and looked to see nobody behind me but a door swinging open. The hair on my neck instantly stood up and I put two and two together. I grabbed my shit and ran downstairs. The receptionist saw me and started laughing. She asked me if I had met their little friend upstairs. My husband and I were traveling through New South Wales, Australia, and stayed at a lovely motel. In the morning, we went down to breakfast, and most of the other people had already left, so we were almost alone. Suddenly, a glass flew across an empty table and landed on the floor. I was facing that direction and fully saw it as if it was pushed across the table. I looked behind me at the only other couple and they were wide-eyed and confused. Apparently, the motel has a permanent resident that likes attention. When I was 15, I woke up in the middle of the night and saw this strange spotlight appear on my wall. It was a circle made up of a bunch of bright circular dots within it. It came on strong, then rotated 90 degrees and then turned off. It was so surreal because the light was extremely bright and yet it was also focused on that one spot on my wall. When I woke up the next morning, I couldn't get the image out of my head, but I just assumed I must have dreamed it. My sister and I were talking over breakfast and she said, "I had this dream last night. My entire room suddenly lit up with these circular dots floating around my room." I got really excited. That actually happened. I woke up and saw it too. My sister froze. "How is that possible? Our blinds are completely shut." Chills to this day. My house was built in the mid-1800s as a farmstead, and over the last 20 years that my family has occupied it, we've made various renovations to it. One thing we discovered while gutting the last unrenovated room in the house was that some of the struts and paneling was charred, as if there had been a particularly bad fire in that room. Later on, my brother told me that he had seen a pair of feet that looked burned running through the house late at night a few years ago. I was incredulous and ready to disbelieve him when I realized that I had experienced something similar a long time ago. When I was a child around Christmas time, I decided to see if I could stay up and hide at the top of the stairs to catch a glimpse of Santa. At around 1 a.m., after I knew everyone was asleep, I crept to the staircase to see a pair of dog feet walk from the kitchen to the living room in front of the bottom of the steps. My parents were definitely asleep, so I had assumed it was Santa and excitedly went to bed. Now, I'm not so sure it was, but rather something more in the line with what my brother saw some years later. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and have a nice day. Bye!